Launch the Slayer.
It's here! It's finally here, you guys! Doom the Dark Ages has officially launched. The game is the next installment in the brutal Doom franchise. Game Pass subscribers get to enjoy the standard edition of the game all on the house. Another big W from Microsoft. The original Doom that came out in 1994 for DOS to date remains the most installed software. Does Doom the Dark Ages live up to the hype? Let's take a rip and maybe a tear at it. The plot of Doom the Dark Ages takes a sci-fi gothic twist, which is a departure from the completely sci-fi plot of the two earlier games. You are the Doomslayer, and you are humanity's only hope against the forces of evil, their ultimate war machine. When mankind's on its knees, they deploy you, the Doomslayer, to hop into the fray and give them one final fighting chance. Tell you what, when I was playing through the first chapter, I was honestly expecting to be tossed into the action without warning, as was the case with the previous games. However, Doom the Dark Ages wants you to explore its bleak, dark world. It incentivizes you to collect all the toys, skins, and explore secret areas. The game wants you to bear witness to its world building and take a deep dive into the lore, placing a heavier emphasis on the story compared to the last two titles. I was hoping for Doom Eternal, but with a rotary saw shield thing that you can yeet at enemies. The game takes its sweet time to set the pace. I feel like this game is a bit more slow-paced compared to its predecessors, with a slower movement and a sprint mechanic, which was probably needed because now you also have a blocking mechanic with your shield. So that might just simply slow you down, and honestly it should. Even when you are a literal god, the Doomslayer, even then you can be too overpowered for the players. So I think that might be more of a game balancing thing that fits into the plot really well. Oh, how I miss the playstyle of the previous games. I mean, the game does get me what I want with the intense firefights from the third chapter. That is where I feel the game gets good. After all, cutting, copying, and pasting Doom Eternal, but with the rotary saw shield I mentioned earlier, would be doing one's fans a disservice. That would be like a reskin. Here, Doom the Dark Ages is every bit a new game, and it's all single player. I don't remember seeing a multiplayer element, so you just rip and tear at your own pace and play it single player as it was always intended since day one. At least these guys are trying something new rather than just putting bells and whistles on the same old thing, so I have to definitely give credit where it's due. Gameplay wise, you have a shield in one hand and a gun in the other. The HUD is minimalist but borrows a classic feature at the bottom of the screen which every gamer is familiar with. Personally, I'm not too keen on minimalism, but then again, I also do not want HUD clutter all over the place. They could have just reused the HUD from Doom Eternal, but that's just my personal opinion. That was the right step forward. However, this is a most refreshing change of gear. Coming to the weapons I got so far, the way to play Doom the Dark Ages is by chaining punches, shield bashes, throws, and gunshots. Another cool detail added to the game is that getting hit appears on the screen. If a Pinky Rider bites you, bite marks appear on the screen. Getting shot puts bullet holes, etc. Oh, and the Doomslayer's grunts when he gets hit are a lot more pronounced than from previous games. They were there, but they were light. Here, I feel the Doomslayer has a lot more personality, which ties in with the higher emphasis on the story, which, again, I'm more than welcome with, so as long as our Doomslayer is, lore correct. Remember that mech that was lying around in your crib in Doom Eternal? You get to use it in-game. When? Oh, I'm not telling you that. Play the game and find out. Oh, and here's another cool feature they added in Doom. You now not only have markers all over your HUD, there's also a chapter end and a point of no return marker. You know, for the really uninitiated. Let's see now. Collect gold? Well, the economy must be seriously bad if the Doomslayer has to get that money back, but I suppose we all have to sell out a little. The game has an upgrade tree for your character and his weapons, but now there is a different way to upgrade them compared to previous games. That, felt more like a Doom game. Now, Doomslayers will have to make every bit of gold count and their precious rubies as well. I believe I do understand a part of the struggle when you've got a lot of fame and a lot of reputation riding on the line, given the massive, groundbreaking success of the previous two Doom games. It becomes harder and harder to not just live up to that hype, but to surpass and shatter all fan expectations by reaching astronomical levels of gaming success. If there is one major takeaway I got from playing Doom the Dark Ages and from making this game's review, it's that you do not judge an entire game by the very first few chapters that you play, and certainly not by the prologue. I played up until chapter 5, and boy was I totally not prepared for the sudden spike in the awesomeness after, say, chapter 2, chapter 3. I wasn't prepared for that. I was like, that's it? That's Doom the Dark Ages? Oh, was I surprised by getting firefights like this. It gave me the intensity I had so been badly craving. By the way, ya boy is playing on ultra violence difficulty with absolutely no modifiers. So that's the way how I play my game. But you do you. In a moment, while you are sort of bored in the prologue chapter or in chapter 1, the game will soon have you on the edge of your seat by surprising you, and that in itself is a really welcome plot twist that I certainly wasn't prepared for. Again, the change of gear and the game's design makes it feel a bit like Skyrim with guns, or I don't know, some other gothic RPG where you can shoot stuff and rip and tear. Ha! I said the line. But still, not having Mick Gordon on board was a massive downer for Doom the Dark Ages. Also, I feel like the game is a lot less gory compared to its predecessors. Doom Eternal was the game. The modern Doom game. And it had you just hop from one demon pillar to the other and rip out this eye thing. And then the pillar would scream and suddenly, demons would suddenly start flocking all around you. That moment will always be a classic. You weren't locked in the level with the demons, they were locked in the level with you. Hey, ladies, gents, where are the glory kills? Do I unlock those later on? Please tell me this feature is unlocked later on. Doom Eternal gave us a different gory kill animation for every demon and from glory killing them from every angle. Where are they? You guys gave us a single player game, eschewed the multiplayer but no glory kills? Thankfully, something like that does exist for the boss battles. Perhaps the title of the game reflects the state of the series without Mick Gordon's flesh-rending tunes. As a musical kind of guy, this is something I cannot skip. Not having Mick Gordon compose the game's soundtrack is like having a body without a soul. That's like glory killing your own game, Bethesda. You just don't do that. Sure, no Mick Gordon shredding his guitar may allow us a little more immersion. The new sound team does do an awesome sauce job, but Mick Gordon does it best. It would be better if we had this option in a later update to set the soundtrack to the classic Doom soundtrack. Again, I don't want immersion with the new soundtrack and with the new design. I want to rip and tear until it is done. So this brings us to the official Game Trigger score. I will be giving Doom the Dark Ages a 7 out of 10. The game is a great attempt at taking a new series direction. But no Mick Gordon, man, it could have been better. The fact that it is single player puts the final nail in the coffin of this argument that single player games are not in demand. With games like Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Doom the Dark Ages, they most certainly are here to stay. And that concludes another super review by Game Trigger Studios. Now, back to demon slaying.